Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So would you like to be famous? His fame spread through all of Galilee, the gospel says about Jesus. Well, the Super Bowl just happened, and Tom Brady may be famous in America for a while. I'm not sure how many are happy about that, but I tell you what, though, it won't be for that long. Who was the Wimbledon winner in 2001? Who was the Olympic champion in lacrosse 5 years ago? Who was the president of Uruguay 2 years ago? You don't know. You don't know. Well, I am going to suggest that there is a kind of fame in the spiritual life which God could use, okay? A kind of good, not passing kind of fame. And that would be to have a reputation that would be one of holiness, prayerfulness, humility, sacrificial love. Even God would work wonders, signs and wonders through you for healing for others. And so Jesus is not famous because he was the president of Israel. He's not famous because he won the Olympics in Greece. He's not famous because even necessarily was just the most handsome man on the planet at the time. But he is the most famous because he is the one who loved the greatest. Okay? And what would it take for us to have that kind of fame? Because, of course, there are a lot of people come and go who are Christians too. I would say it's somebody who defies the odds by undertaking a task so great he or she can't do it unaided. By following God in a challenge to step out on water. By praying with the kind of faith that moves mountains. By sacrificing with the kind of self-donation that regards less one's condition, more the condition of the other, who is the beneficiary. St. Francis of Assisi fasted 3 times a year for 40 days. I'm not suggesting you do it, but that's pretty extraordinary, you know? So to defy odds, to step out of a boat and walk on water for the Lord. This year, I think at some point, Blessed Junipero Serra is going to be canonized. He's blessed now. But he defied odds in his own mission in life. All right? He grew up in a poor family. His dad was a quarry worker in Spain in the 1700s, early 1700s. And he went to school, studied philosophy, theology, was a teacher for 10 years in Spain. Again, he's from Majorca. And at one point, there was an invitation for missionaries to come to America, all right, which included Mexico and California and so on, where he ended up going. Well, the ship was tiny and fragile, and many, even missionaries, as they approached, said, I'm not going on that, okay? But he still, with a certain courage, said, I'm going to do it. And that was maybe the first radical act of courage that he had. When he arrived in Spain, there were all sorts of difficulties, whether it's insects, whether it's Indians who could kill you. He actually was bitten by a scorpion fairly early on, and it created sores on his legs that never fully healed. So he walked for the rest of his life from roughly age 36 to 71, or early 70s. He walked with a limp, an injury that never left. And despite all of that, he defied the odds, and this little Franciscan brother with tonsured head raised up more than 20 missions in California. And the missions, many of them named after Franciscans, St. Francis, for example, okay, St. Clare, Santa Clara is out there. And every 20 miles or so, he'd start a new mission, and he had walked the journey with his limp. and he would undertake this great task for the Lord. Each of those missions had about 2,000 Indians in them. Okay. The Indians that he initially met, the Pama Indians and the Apache Indians, were cannibals. And many people feared to go into their territory. But he went with the trust in God, and he taught them how to farm. He taught them how to breed cattle and sheep, and that was part of the avenue in. So he's a man that we will be celebrating this year, canonized with Pope Francis. In our government in Washington, D.C., there's a hall called Statuary Hall, and every state has one figure with a statue there representing that state. Two figures of them are fairly religious, but one is this guy, Brother Blessed Junipero Serra. He represents the state of California in Washington, D.C. Now I'm going to invite you to consider your own life for a moment, okay? What God might be calling you to do, how God might be asking you to defy the odds. Not to do something that just we're simply capable of on our own. That's not the point. The point is to do something we are incapable of without the help of God. And again, maybe that is a certain way to lay down our life in a kind of sacrifice that can't be done except by grace. Maybe that is to be a kind of wonder worker by God using us in a powerful way. Maybe that's to step out in faith and to pray for something extraordinary. What is it for you? What's God calling you to?